All right.
Okay, hi there. This is Phil Simborg, USBGF Teaching Pro, and I have with me today one of my very favorite guest lecturers, John O'Hagan, currently the number 15 ranked giant in the world. Say hello, John. Make sure
Good
we can
morning.
hear you.
Hello.
Good. John is my go-to guy for a lot of things because he's not only a great player, he's a great teacher, and he understands and explains the math of complex mathematical situations about as anybody in the world. And he also has proven over the board that he can do it very well over the board. One of my favorite things that John does is he creates shortcuts and doesn't try to be too complicated over the board, because usually you've got a clock running. At the same time, sometimes you just really have to do the numbers. Now, I'm going to give you a warning right now. This lesson is not for beginners. Before you can begin to understand what we're going to talk about today, and we're talking about the cube action and at this score in this position, you need to know how to count shots. You need to know about match equity, take points, and doubling and recube. And I would think that if you're there, then if you're there and you know a lot of this stuff, you're already a very good player, at least a good, strong intermediate player. And I want to also warn you that even if you're a pretty good open player, some of this may be a little bit difficult for you, because I must tell you, I consider myself to be a pretty good player, and some of this is difficult for me. So let's get right into it. The score is 1 away, 2 away, 3 away. In other words, it's the 3-point match, or this could be towards the end of an 11-point match, as long as the away score is what matters. And red is winning. He needs 2 points to win the match, and blue needs 3 points to win the match, and red is on roll. And the question is, over the board, if you were playing in this position, John, how would you decide whether or not you should double or not if you're red, and whether or not you should take the cube or not if you're blue? And I'm going to play dumb and ask dumb questions. Something I can do very, very well is play dumb. So take it away.
Okay. I guess the first question to ask is, are you sure that blue has a take? And seems pretty clear that blue does, since 12 of your numbers fail to hit, which is 1/3 of your numbers fail to hit. And when you hit just one checker, you don't always win either. So, but to do the math on the pass take choice for blue here, if blue were to pass, he's down 3 away Crawford, which gives him 25% match winning chance. Take and lose, 0. Take and win, it's a little complicated here, because if red rolls one of his 12 numbers that fail to hit, blue will just redouble him out. So he will be ahead 2-1, or he'll be ahead.
Well, I'm gonna challenge you on that. If red dances, it's too good to double, but that doesn't happen that often.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just over the board, you want to keep it
simple
as possible. Because,
okay. Gotcha.
All right. On the other hand, when red hits just one checker, red doesn't always win the game. After all, blue has got 4 checkers borne off, which means if red were to place his 3 spares, ideally on his 6, 5, and 4 points, blue will still win that game about 16% of the time. And since red already has 1 spare deep on his 2-point, red, I'm guessing, will only win about 80% of the time. Okay, so basically, when you do the math on it, again on the take pass choice for blue here, if he passes, his match winning chances are 25%. Take and lose, 0. Take and win, he's about 75%. So his take point is like 33%. And since he wins the 12 games where you fail to hit right away, and he wins over 16% on the others, is definitely a take. So next question is, should red...
By the way, let me just interject there. I want everybody to notice what John did here. You always start with whether or not your opponent will take or drop. That's Woolsey's law in effect. And if you decide that your opponent had a pass, if John had figured out that blue was passing, then it's a no-brainer that red doubles. If he thinks that it might be a take and he's not quite sure, or it might be a pass and he's not quite sure, then without doing very much more thinking, you can be pretty sure it's a double. But once you decide, as John did, that it's a take, then, and only then, you have to now figure out whether or not red has a double. So that's where we're at now. John is sure that blue has a take, and he's absolutely correct, and his numbers, are, of course, are very right. By the way, one thing you didn't cover, John, is sometimes you do hit both checkers, both the blues checkers, and I checked this. When you hit both the blues checkers, you win about 97% of the time. He still can even win after hitting it twice, because once in a while red leaves a shot in the bear off and gets hit, and once in a while blue rolls double sixes and comes in and wins. Okay, so now we're at the point where we know blue's taking should red double. How do you decide that?
Okay, the way I would approach it is as follows. First, if red does not double and loses this game, the score will be two-way, and red will have 50% match-winning chances. If red does double and lose this game, he either will be down Crawford 2-away with 25% match-winning chance, with 32% match-winning chance, or he will just lose the match. Okay.
Why would he lose the match?
Well, let's say that red doubles, blue accepts, and red hits. Okay, on somewhere down the line, blue is going to redouble to 4, and especially if red only hits one checker, he's going to win this less than 84% of the time. Right?
So 16% of the time he would lose the match because he has to take the recube.
Exactly.
And blue has an automatic recube because anytime you're holding a 2 cube and your opponent needs 2 points and you need more, it's an automatic redouble.
Exactly.
Okay, I got you.
All right. So now let's think about when red does hit. 24 numbers hit. Okay. How many of those hit both checkers? Well, an immediate 3-3 will do it. And if he rolls a 3-5, 3-4, 3-3, 3-2, or 3-1, he gets a 3-shot next time, which he might hit. So of those 8 other numbers...
And 3-6, did you say 3-6?
Oh, I'm sorry, 3-6 also. So
yes.
It's actually 10 other numbers, sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Of those 10 other numbers, he probably is going to hit about 3 or 4 of those next time. He'll hit the other black next time, 3 or 4 times. Okay. So
and by the way, he wouldn't wait and try and hit the other checker and break his board. He would never do that. Okay.
No. Yeah. And basically, when you think about it, like if he rolls like a 3-4, he'll hit and then play 10-6. He's basically got one chance to roll a 3, 2-1, or 1-1. I mean, after that, if he doesn't roll that, he's not going to wait around. He's going to be forced to run past. So
well, let me ask you a question here. I simplified this. I assumed that most of the time he hits one checker, and as you said, if he hits one checker, he's about an 85%, about an 80% favorite or so. And if he hits 2 checkers, he's at 97%. So I just assume that he's going to win the game about 85%.
Okay.
If he hits.
All right. The way I looked at it was, of the 24 hits, I guesstimated that blue's going to hit both checkers on 4 of those. Okay. And I just made it simple and said that red is going to win all 4 of those.
Okay.
So, of the other 20 games where he just hits one checker, I think he'll win about 80%, not 84%, because his distribution is already less than perfect.
Okay.
So, therefore, when you do a weighted average, about 1/3, I take it back. About 25% of his losses occur when he hits one checker and loses the the race. Okay. And all his other losses are when he just fails to hit right away. So you do a weighted average. When he rolls one of his 12 numbers that don't hit, blue will just redouble them out. Now, you're right that if red rolls 2-1, 2-2, or 1-1, that blue should just go for the gammon. But again, over the board, you want to keep things kind of simple. So I would just say that he's just going to cash the game on all those cases. So anyway, that will give you 12 losses where the score will be Crawford 2 away, and on 4 other losses, you will just lose the match. Okay?
Uh-huh.
So therefore, on average, your match winning chances when you lose this game are 3/4 of 32%, which is 24%. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And so your risk from doubling is 26%. The difference between 50 and 24 is 26. Okay?
Okay.
Now, let's look at the gain side. If you don't double and win this game, you will be at 75% match winning chances because you'll be ahead Crawford 3 away. Okay? If you do double and win, you are 100%. So your gain is 25. So the minimum doubling point is therefore 26 over 26 plus 25. In other words, 26 over 51, a little over 50%. Okay? Now, how often do you win this game? You win about 20 out of 36 games. So that's over the minimum doubling point. So doubling is correct.
And this is exactly how you would do it over the board.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, and let's look at what the answer is. By the way, you won't believe how fast you can, instead of hitting the plus button, you can hit the rollout on this one and get the inaccurate answer. And he is right. It clearly is a double. It's almost a blunder not to double. Now, let's talk in a little bit more general terms. If you were winning this match and you see that you're giving your opponent a chance to get back in the match, I think most people's gut reaction would be not to double here. Conversely, if you were losing, if the score was reversed and he's winning, most of us think you'd have to gamble a little bit more and that you'd need to do more things with the cube to try and get back in the match. But it turns out, and I'm going to give away the answer, it's wrong to double here if you were losing. You would be making a monster error if you're losing, and the quick answer is, of course, that when you double, you lose the whole match. And if you are successful after doubling, you don't win the match. You just get to Crawford, and you become a pretty big favorite, 68% favorite. So you're giving away 100%, or you lose 100% when you lose. So the first thing I want to point out is to some extent these kinds of cubes towards the end of the game are counterintuitive. It's just the opposite of what you would think. When you're winning is when it's right to give cubes like this, and when you're losing it isn't. As a matter of fact, when you're winning, if it's a dead cube and at the very end of the game, you can actually give the cube when you're far under 50%. Now, one of the things you said, John, here is your doubling point was a little over 50%. You meant for this position.
Oh, yeah. And that takes into account the fact that this is not really a one roll or a last roll of the game position, because a decent number of your losses occur when after you hit the shot and you lose anyway.
Yeah. Just to go stay with that point, let me just show you something else so you can understand what we're talking about. This is one of my favorite positions. In this position, I happen to know, without doing any counting, that Red wins this game 19 times and misses 17 times. He's a favorite. And if you put it in this position, Red loses the game 19 times and he wins 17 times. So Red will win this game 47% of the time. Am I right, John?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, John knows this instantly. Any good player has studied this position. You're only going to win here 47% of the time. You're not favored. One would think you wouldn't double here. Take a look. You should double here. It's a big double, even though you're not a favorite, because your doubling window with a dead cube is only 41% at the score, because you gain so much more when you win the 2 points. You win the entire match, then you lose, because if you lose 2 points, you're still in the match. You still have 32% chance to win the match, but you can win the entire match by doubling. So you don't even need to be a favorite. All you need to be is over 41%. For example, in this position, are you over 41%? Well, you miss with all ones and twos, and you miss with a 3-4. So you miss 20 times because of ones and twos. You miss 22 times. You win 14 times. You should be able to figure out what 14 times is. John, quickly, what's 14? 36.
14 in terms of percentage, let me see, that's a bit less than 40.
A bit less than 40. See, 14 times, see, each 136 is 2.78%. So what I do is I cheat. I can't multiply times 2.78% very easily. So I know that 14 times 3 is what? That's 42. And then I take away about 10%, which makes it about 39. And that's how I would come up with about 39%. So if your doubling point is 41% in this position, then this would not be a double. And sure enough, it's not a double because you're not over the 41%. Put yourself over 41%, as we did before, and you have a cube. Okay, let's go back to the original position. And by the way, I'm doing that very quickly because I hit Control-C to save it, now Control-V. You had said in your talk here that your risk was, I believe, 24%. Is that correct?
26.
26%. See, I came up with a totally different risk, and maybe I did this wrong. But what I figured out that you do win, I got the right number. I figured out that you win the game about 56% of the time is what I came up with, and it was 57%. But what I did over the board is I did a blended average of how often you hit once or twice, and I came up with 56%. So I was pretty close on that. So if you win 56% of the time, and that means that your reward, if you win, only happens 56% of the time. So your reward is the difference between what you win if you win 1 point and what you win if you win 2 points, right? So if you win, and you win 1 point, then you have 67%. If you win and you win 2 points,
no. If you win 1 point, you're ahead Crawford 3 away with 75% match winning chance.
Oh, that's where I made my mistake. That's where I made my mistake. Over the board, I was thinking 67%. And by the way, that's part of why I missed this over the board. I have to be honest with you, I didn't double this. This came up in a match of mine, and I did stop. I did realize that I might have a double here. I was smart enough to see that blue had an easy take, and I missed the double because I didn't do the math properly over the board. So what does that mean? It means I got to do a lot more work on this. I got to do a lot more practice on this. John is able to do this math over the board. Now, most of the top giants and players in the world, I think, would get this right. But I don't know how many of them would actually stop and do all the math. But after you get past the top giants, and the giant is the top 32 list, I happen to be number 50. So I think players around my level are often going to miss this, and certainly most people are below 50 in the world on the list, and a lot of them are going to miss this and not even have any idea how to do it. So this is not in a real weird situation. This is not a crazy kind of problem. These come up all the time. So one of my favorite sayings is you don't know what you don't know. If you didn't know how to do what John just did, or you couldn't do it perfectly well, which was my case where I knew how to do it but I didn't do it right, it's because we need to work on it more and practice it more. So that's my recommendation to you. If you don't understand why this is a double and why if you were losing it wouldn't be a double, then you need to work on these because these things come up all the time. And of course we can make it much more complex by changing the score and making them redouble. So you have the same exact type of channel of reasoning. You have to do risk and reward to figure out whether it's a take and whether it's a double, as well as being able to estimate the odds of winning and losing and getting gammon. John, anything else to add about this position or the situation?
Yeah, here's another way you could try to analyze it over the board. Okay, you could say the criteria would be how many games or how many matches in 36 matches do you win by doubling versus not doubling. So let's first look at not doubling. Okay, first of all, if you hit one of your 24 numbers here, you'll be able to double the opponent out, because the opponent's take point at this score will be 25% cubeless, and he will only be about 20%. And he'll be less than that if you roll one of your 4 double hitters. Okay?
Let's do that. Let's say you hit, and you didn't double, and you hit, and now you're on roll. You're saying it's a double pass. What have I got wrong?
I think maybe you got the wrong side on roll.
No, I didn't put the checker on the bar. Okay, that's an important factor.
Yeah.
Okay, huge pass. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so if you don't double now and you roll one of your 24 hitters, you will win all 24 of those, right? Okay, so far you're at 24. Now the 12 the 12 numbers that fail to hit. Let's just say that blue redoubles you out in all those, even though technically he should play on for the gammon if you roll one of your 4 dancing numbers. Okay, so if that happens, the score will be two-way with 50% match-winning chances. So you will win 6 of those 12 matches, right? So 6 plus 24 is 30 matches you will win out of 36, right? Okay. So you win all 24 of the ones you hit, and you win 75% of the time when you roll one of your 24 hitters. So that's 18 plus 6 is you'll win 24 matches out of 36. Okay. Now let's say you do redouble or you do double. Okay. You will win the 20 times out of 36. You will win the match. Okay. And of the other 16, you will win a little more than 4 of those. So you'll win therefore a little more than 24 matches out of 36 if you do redouble. So that's just
okay. But over the board, with the clock running, would you have done it the second shortcut way, or would you have gone through the all match?
The first way if I had time.
Okay, if you had time. So if your clock was running short, and it might be because this is towards the end of the match, you might have done it the other way. And by the way, the ability to do it the shortcut is there for you if you've taken the time and practice to learn the long way that John does. Because when you start doing it shortcuts and you start averaging out, you can get pretty accurate, and you might find out it's, oh, for sure, in this position, John would have done the shortcut, and he would have said, oh, yeah, this has got to easily be a double, and he would have doubled. Or he would have found out it's nowhere near a double, and you don't double. The only time he's going to run into a problem with the shortcut is when it's really, really close, and then, after that, he might have to stop and do the numbers and just pray he's got enough time on the clock, which is another story. Make sure you have enough time at the clock towards the end of the match. These people who let their clocks run down towards the end of the match and are so proud that they've used up all their time, I think are cheating themselves a little bit because they're not leaving room for this kind of calculation. Nobody in the world, and John is one of the best, can do this super fast and do it well. So leave yourself some time. Okay, John, thank you very, very much for donating your time to the USBGF, and appreciate your helping us with this position. As soon as we get off, I'm going to go through the numbers again. I'm going to listen to the tape again, and I'm going to change the position slightly and work on this, because obviously I need to work on this more. It wasn't second nature to me to do this right. Thanks again.
All right, Phil. Thank you.
Bye-bye.